Thanks, Kurt. Welcome to the Chevy pregame show on Fox. Chevy, an American revolution. It was a long night on South Philadelphia last night, an even longer day today. First, the city watched the Philadelphia Eagles get a big win against the Atlanta Falcons. And then what did these fans do? Of course they walked across the street for Game 4 of the World Series. Their beloved Phillies are only 2 wins away from the city's first World Series title in 28 years. But the resilient Tampa Bay Rays stand in their way after an unbelievable Game 3. What can we expect in Game 4 of the World Series? That's what we're all here to find out. I'm Jeannie Zalasko, joined by former big league manager Kevin Kennedy, former big leaguer Eric Karros, and you guys noticed the Commissioner's Trophy hanging out here with us in Philadelphia. 2 wins away, and this trophy, this hardware may call Philly home, and they took a good step last night.
Yeah, it's been great, these 3 games. I mean, you think about it, 3 games decided by only 4 runs.
So incredible. I don't think words really tell the story. So let's go to the pictures, shall we? It began later than any other World Series game because of a 91-minute rain delay. 10:07 first pitch. You were awake. I know it's Skipper.
I was, and so was Jamie Moore. He got 5 innings, only giving up 1 run. In the 6th, looked like a 2-run home run by Longoria to end the inning. No, a nice play in left field. We got through 6 good innings, only give up 1 run.
And there, UCLA alum Chase Utley, home run, but this is the big one. Ryan Howard, first home run in 42 postseason at-bats this year. 4-1 Philly lead. Now in the 8th inning, 4-3 ball game. B.J. Upton with his wheels, he beats it out to first base. Then he steals second. On the very next pitch, steals third. Ball gets away from Pedro Feliz. He scores. We got a 4-4 ball game. Oh, no, Philly fan.
Now we go to the bottom of the 9th. Bases loaded, nobody out. Joe Madden bringing in a 6-man infield. One of the outfielders comes in, takes the infield glove. 6 men around the infield, including the pitcher, hoping the ground ball would be at one of those guys to get a force at home plate and keep the defense alive. A little chopper by Ruiz. Longoria could not make the play. Portland scores a winning run. And the scrappy Phillies get it done.
And how about the X factor last night? The fans.
Well, you know, Philly fans get a bad rap. You hear the stories, throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, booing Santa Claus. But what I saw last night, 46,000 people screaming for their ball club at 2 a.m. They're just as big a part as anybody on this field. They're here in full force tonight.
And you don't want them to boo you. All right, on paper, this wasn't supposed to happen, right? Jamie Moore said, you know what, I pitched the game of my life.
Yes, he really did. A lot of people said after 2 bad postseason appearances, especially the last one against the Dodgers, he shouldn't pitch. Game 3, he did. He pitched absolutely outstanding, went through 6 good innings, as I said, and only gave up 1 run. I don't think he should have gone back out in the 7th. I think they should have gone to the bullpen. He deserved better fate. He deserved the win.
Let's look to tonight. These Rays are capable of winning 3 of the next 4. Does it have to start tonight?
Well, it has to start tonight. It has to start in the middle of the lineup. Carlos Pena, Evan Longoria, they are 0 for 22 in this World Series with 10 strikeouts combined. They need to get going tonight so Tampa Bay can even this series.
All right, Kevin, Andy Sonnenstein hasn't pitched for 12 days. What does this mean for Joe Madden and how he has to manage tonight?
Well, I think because they're down 2 games to 1, whether it's 12 days off for Sonnenstein or not, it doesn't really matter. You have to win this game tonight because of the simple fact you got the best pitcher in the postseason going for the Phillies tomorrow, and that's Cole Hamels. You don't want to be down 3 games to 1 in an elimination game. So I think you're going to see the bullpen tonight. I don't expect David Price in there once again tonight for a couple of innings.
All right, well, guys, so far this World Series has delivered everything the fans have wished for and then some. Late last night, or maybe I should say early this morning, Carlos Ruiz gave Phillies fans everything they've ever wished for. Ruiz's 2-3 night included a solo home run in the 2nd, then a dramatic bases-loaded infield single to win the first World Series game in Philadelphia in 15 years. Will Phillies fans continue to see moments they've always wished for? We will soon find out. It's brought to you by Traverse, the all-new crossover from Chevy. It is everything you've ever wished for and then some. Still ahead on the Chevy pregame show, Philadelphia has turned to one of its own, Patti LaBelle, for tonight's national anthem. We've told you about the fanatic and the fanatical fans. We'll have more from Philadelphia. Game 4 of the World Series right after this.
The Chevy World Series pregame show on Fox is sponsored by Chevy Traverse. It's everything you've ever wished for and then some. Right now, down to the field we go, and we join public address announcer Dan Baker.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats. Here to honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome legendary Grammy Award-winning entertainer and Philadelphia's own beloved daughter, Patti LaBelle.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the starlight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets guns bursting in arms, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? On the land of the
Wow, Philadelphia's own Patti LaBelle with our national anthem. Game 4 coming up. And welcome back to the Chevy pregame show on Fox. Chevy, an American Revolution. And now welcome to Game 4 of this 2008 World Series, and an opportunity tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays to even this series at 2 games apiece, or the Philadelphia Phillies to take a stranglehold on this fall classic. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is coming right up. A pitching matchup tonight of 2 right-handers. It's Andy Sonnenstein for the Tampa Bay Rays, and for the Philadelphia Phillies, Joe Blanton, a midseason pickup from the Oakland Athletics. It's already been talked about a lot, Tim McCarver, and that is what the 3-4 combination has done or not done. Probably better said for the Tampa Bay Rays, that combo of Carlos Pena and Evan Longoria.
Well, it has been a mighty struggle for the 3 and 4 hitters of the Tampa Bay Rays. As Eric Karros said, 0 for 22 with 10 strikeouts. I know it's an oversimplification, but why is that happening? Well, simply put, Carlos Pena is a low ball hitter, and the Phillies have been working him up in the strike zone, and he's been taking the bait. Evan Longoria, on the other hand, a high ball hitter. The Phillies have worked him down, and he's been swinging at balls out of his zone. The distinction is very important. Not only swinging at balls out of the strike zone, but out of their zones.
And yet with all of that, we've seen 3 very tight games so far in the World Series. And last night, in case for some reason you needed sleep, a little bit before 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, in the 9th inning, Bruntlett was on after being hit by a pitch, goes to second on the wild pitch, goes to third on the throwing error by the catcher Navarro, and then scores with all the infielders, the bases loaded, with a 45-foot chopper down the third baseline. And there you go. Because of that, the Philadelphia Phillies are now up 2-1. So we look back. Game 1, it was the Phillies coming out fast with Cole Hamels dealing. And Chase Utley going yard with a 2-run shot. Game 2, the Rays pitching, led by James Shields and rookie David Price, even the series. Game 3 last night, elder statesman Jamie Moyer and the unlikely hero Carlos Ruiz in a wild finish. Game 4, anything could happen tonight, and it's yours next on Fox. Joe Madden, the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. He has guided his team from the worst record in baseball last year into the World Series here in 2008. And a rarity for you, as the two clubs have representing them in the broadcast booth a father-son combination on opposite sides for the Tampa Bay Rays. Bringing us our lineup is Todd Callis.
Thanks, Joe. Here's the Rays lineup that will even the series at 2 against Dad's Phils. Akinori Iwamura will lead off and play second base. Boss Man Jr. will bat second and patrol most of the outfield. Los Carlos Pena hits third and plays first base. Evan, soon to be Roy Longoria, plays third base and hits cleanup. CC, Carl Crawford, the left fielder, bats fifth. Batting sixth, Deanna Navarro catching. Ben Zobrist in right field bats seventh. In the 8th spot, Jason Bartlett, the shortstop. And on the mound, Andy Sonnenstein for the Rays. Hi, Mom.
A little hi, Mom, to his mother, Jasmine, Hawaiian-born Jasmine. And you look at the defense for the Philadelphia Phillies. Burrell, Victorino, Worth. Around the infield, Feliz, Rollins, Utley, Howard. Ruiz does the catching for Joe Blanton. When we come back, we'll get this thing started. Game 4 of the World Series next. Are here in Philadelphia, and here are the Ford keys to the game, Tim.
For the Tampa Bay Rays, it's time once again to get their third and fourth hitters going, and for the Phillies to continue the postseason perfection at home, 5-0.
Our opening pitch brought to you by Bud Light. The difference is drinkability. And let's go. Time to play baseball. Long day of sports on Fox culminates here with Game 4 of the World Series. And Akinori Iwamura first up, and he takes a ball down and in. Joe Blanton, the right-hander, 6'3", 256 from Nashville. And the Phillies 11-4 this season when he starts. That includes the postseason. He won the clinching game in the division series at Milwaukee. He got a no decision in a team's eventual win in L.A., and that's hooked foul. Strike 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Obtained by the Phillies on July 17th. He was 5-12 for the Oakland Athletics.
And that's down and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes. They're the numbers this World Series for Iwamura. He got 3 hits in his first 3 at bats, 0 for 8 since then. That almost tailed back for strike 3. Instead, it's ball 3 and a full count. Out of play, still full, and we give you the sprint pitcher profile for Joe Blanton.
What are the Rays looking for out of Blanton? Unusually over the top. And the Philadelphia Phillies looking for 6 strong innings. He can be wild.
And in a battle now with Iwamura. He's kind of got a little bit of a herky-jerky style to it, an abnormal or at least unique delivery when he pitches from the windup.
We used to say guys like that look like they're climbing a ladder while they're throwing.
Here's a well-hit fly ball to left. Back is Burrell at the wall. 1 out, and the Rays have got to be thinking, here we go again. Last night, it was Evan Longoria pounding one into left. That ball was crushed. This one, not so much, but it still carried Burrell to the wall, and it's a loud first out to start Game 4.
Yeah, the flags have shifted tonight because the wind is blowing more out to left center field. Last night, those flags were blowing straight in and kept that ball Longoria hit in the ballpark.
Here's B.J. Upton. He goes up there ready to hack and fouls it straight back. B.J. Upton last night single-handedly tied this game in the 8th inning, and he did it with his legs. That's high. 1 ball, 1 strike. He reached on an infield hit, stole second, stole third, and scored on a throwing error by Ruiz, which tied it at 4. Phillies won at 5-4. That's strike 2. Right down the middle, 2 out. How about the difference between the American League Championship Series and the World Series so far for the Rays? 16 home runs for Tampa Bay against Boston pitching. So far, just the one hit by Crawford for the Rays, getting it over the wall in game 2, and that's it. Here is Carlos Pena, 2 out, nobody on. With 2 out, nobody on, a broken bat pop up behind the plate. Ruiz is there, and the Rays go quietly in the first. Andy Sonnenstein. There is Charlie Manuel. Here is his lineup, brought to you by Todd's dad. Here's the great Harry Callis.
Thanks, Joe. Here is the Phillies starting lineup tonight. Leading off, shortstop J-Roll, Jimmy Rollins. Batting second and right field, Jason Worth. Hitting third, second base, Chase Utley. Batting fourth, the gentle giant at first base, Ryan Howard. Batting fifth, Pat Burrell, we call him Bate. Batting sixth, center fielder Shane Victorino. Batting seventh will be the third baseman Pedro Feliz. Batting eighth, the surprise hero of the World Series, Carlos Ruiz, catching, and batting ninth and pitching, Joe Blanton.
If I had that voice, I'd just sit around the house all day and talk to myself. Here's Andy Sonnenstein, the right-hander, who was 13-9 during the regular season, and so far he has been perfect. This postseason, he has won 2 Game 4 starts. The division series at the White Sox, Game 4 of the ALCS in Boston, 13-4. And he's been impressive, put up good numbers while he's picked up the wins. He falls behind Rollins 2-0. Joe Madden gave us a quote to describe Sonnenstein. He said he has gone a long way on an 88-mile-an-hour fastball. That one's 87 for a guy that doesn't blow you away, but they're not afraid one bit of the makeup of Andy Sonnenstein. He wants the ball and believes he'll come up big tonight for the Rays as he falls behind 3-1.
Andy Sonnenstein might be the best thing a teammate can say about him, that he is simply a winner.
The 3-1 to Rollins. Hit hard and fair down the right field line. It hits that area that juts out. An easy double for Rollins to start Phillies night.
One thing pitchers try to do, they try to stay away from the inside part of the plate when the hitter's ahead in the count, or else something like this happens. Hitters are looking for balls inside. Rollins was, and leads off the game with a double. The Phillies have scored in the first inning in 4 of the last 5 games. And that's that cut fastball inside. And Rollins turns around to Deanna Navarro and said, "I'll handle this one."
Here's Jason Worth. Worth has another opportunity. He has not come up and done anything in a chance like this for Philadelphia so far this postseason. So far 0 for 10 with 7 strikeouts with runners in scoring position this postseason. And he's only 1 for his last 24 since September 19th with runners in scoring position. Here's a 1-0. 2-0 with Chase Utley on deck. So far for the Phillies, games 1 and 2, their leadoff batters reached 10 times. They scored only twice. Game 3 reached 6 times. Scored 3 of those 6. Leadoff double here by Rollins. And it's 3-0.
Uncharacteristic wildness early for Sonnenstein.
A 3-0. There's a strike, and you say that because this is a guy whose control is excellent. He's walked more than 3 batters only 1 time in 140 starts in his pro career. That's throughout the minor leagues and in the big leagues and this postseason. Worth hits it in the air to deep right center. It will slice to the right fielder Zobrist. Tagging is Rollins. The throw cut off, and Worth advances the runner with 1 out. Let's give you the Sprint pitcher profile for Andy Sonnenstein.
We've already covered that middle point there. Simply a winner, but he rarely breaks 90 miles an hour. He's quick to first and quick to the plate. Only 2 stolen bases against Andy in 2 years. Base runners are 2 for 13, but the Phillies once again with a chance to score a cheap run here early.
More than not during this World Series, the Phillies, when they've scored runs, have done it with the long ball. 6 of their runs, and they've scored 10 of them, have come on home runs. And we all know it's been worn out what this team has done with runners in scoring position. There's a ball. 2 for 33 with runners in scoring position of the Phillies, and neither hit left the infield. One by Victorino that didn't play to run, and then the game winner last night that chopped up the third baseline by Ruiz. A chance for Utley. And again, Sonnenstein falls behind. It's 2-0.
It's almost as though the Phillies can't drive in a run unless they drive in themselves. They can't drive in a teammate. 6 of the 10 runs in this series scored as a result of the home run.
2-0 is the count, and Utley takes ball 3 outside. 3-0. Phillies with Worth and Utley now have been a little more selective here tonight with a runner in scoring position than they had the first 3 games.
Utley, a guy who will swing 3-0.
And he didn't get a chance. There's a walk to put runners at the corners. Here's how they score the runs for Charlie Manuel's club. 6 of the 10 have come via the home run. 2 on groundouts, 1 on an error, and just 1 on a little old base hit. And that was the game winner last night. Here's Ryan Howard, first and third, 1 out. Last night went deep, his first home run in 51 at bats. Shift is on the infield. Typical for Howard, who takes a strike. Home plate umpire tonight, Tim, is Tom Hallion.
Excuse me, Joe. Charlie Manuel saying, Ryan, do yourself and the Phillies a favor. Hit the ball to left field.
Nothing and 1 the count. First and third, 1 out. Back to Sonnenstein, and they have Rollins hung up. Sonnenstein flips and safe. The bases are loaded. Longoria says he tagged Rollins, but the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Well, the play should have gone to second base. The double play ends the inning. Ryan Howard's not a fast runner. So Jimmy Rollins, by trying to score, upsets the timing of Sonnenstein. And a little reward as a result of a poor choice by Sonnenstein. But Longoria touched him right on the rear end.
I mean, this has been a World Series of at least 4 missed calls that you can think of on the bases.
Big ones. That's
Big
right.
missed calls. And this umpiring crew has had a rough World Series, and you don't want to say that, you don't want to pick on umpires, but here it is again where Longoria not only touched him, then reacted after the safe call was given. But instead of runners at first and second, 2 out, and you're right, the play should have been back to second base. Double play ends the inning. Longoria tagged Rollins, and the Tampa Bay Rays do not get the call again.
Yeah, Jason Bartlett was the shortstop. Now, as you look at the umpires, but Jason Bartlett, the shortstop. And if Sonnenstein goes to second base, Bartlett is there, and you double up Howard, and the Rays are in the dugout instead of bases loaded and 1 out.
But still no damage done yet for Philadelphia, and they ask for something out of Pat Burrell, who is hitless in this World Series. Burrell with no RBIs in this series, just 7 this postseason.
Baseball, a game of anticipation. That's why catchers continue to remind pitchers where to go on balls back to them.
Breaking ball is down and away, ball 1. It's a fielder's choice off the bat of Ryan Howard. And now Rollins is at third. Utley at second. Ryan Howard at first. 1 out. No score in game 4. 2-0 as Sonnenstein continues to fall behind hitters. Burrell can sit on a pitch, and it's a breaking ball that misses. 3-0. Three and 1. Victorino on deck. Burrell does not run well. He's a double play candidate if Sonnenstein can get him to hit it on the ground. Burrell hit 33 home runs during the regular season. And a walk forces home a run. 1-0 Philadelphia on a bases loaded walk. So Rollins scores. He led off with a double. And now Victorino, who's 4 for 11 in this series. Strike 1. Rare first pitch strike from Sonnenstein here in this first inning. Now Utley's at third, Ryan Howard's at second, and Pat Burrell's at first. Out in front of the plate, Sonnenstein flips for the force at home. 2 out. And a good play right out of the glove from Andy Sonnenstein to the catcher Navarro. It's still 1-0 with Phillies coming up.
Well, sometimes as a fielder you cannot make the transfer. You have to shuffle it off because of the speed of the runner at third base. In this particular case, nicely done by Sonnenstein.
And so you can look at what we're about to witness here is really something from both sides. Here's a chance for the Tampa Bay Rays to avoid falling into a big hole here in game 4 as they trail in this series. There's strike 1. And on the other side for Philadelphia, they can take a stranglehold on this series. They ask for a hit from Pedro Feliz and to do something that Charlie Manuel's club has struggled to do in this World Series, come up with a 2-out hit with runners in scoring position. Count evens at a ball and a strike. The 1-1 from Sonnenstein. Fly ball into center field, and there's another golden opportunity for the Philadelphia Phillies. It goes down the drain. A run scores, not on a hit, but on a bases loaded walk. Philly leads 1-0 after 1. Evan Longoria steps to the plate to lead off here in the second. What a good job by Andy Sonnenstein, Tim, to limit the damage. He made good pitches. Just a 1-0 Philadelphia lead, and Longoria ready to rip, fouls it straight back.
He made one bad decision, not going to second base on that first and third situation, and then he made good pitches to get out of the inning with only one run as damage.
Here's a 0-2 to Longoria, up and away from Joe Blanton, who had a perfect first inning. Iwamura flied to the wall and left. Upton struck out looking, and then Pena was taken care of, as is Longoria. Second strikeout for Joe Blanton. Let's go back, Tim, to what could have been the way out of the inning.
Gives you a pretty good idea right here. Ground ball, one hopper back to Sonnenstein. Where's the play? Second base, not third. But Jimmy Rollins trying to score from third base, got caught in the rundown. And while he was tagged out, the clear play there from Sonnenstein was to go to second, and it's an easy 1-6-3 double play on the slow-footed Ryan Howard.
And meanwhile, something you talked about at the top of our show, and that was Evan Longoria, who took that breaking ball down and away, went after it, chasing it not only out of the strike zone, but out of his zone. He needs the ball up. He's a high ball hitter. And he becomes the first out here in the second. Carl Crawford is set up at a ball and 2 strikes. And he strikes out. That's 3 here in an inning and 2/3 for Joe Blanton.
So far, this is as well as Joe Blanton can throw. Sliders biting out of the strike zone, getting ahead with the fastball. He looks very, very composed out there.
Blanton has not made a start since Game 4 of the National League Championship Series out in Los Angeles on the 13th. So he's had 13 days of rest. The starter for Tampa Bay is working on 12, is with 2 out, nobody on. Here is a strike to Navarro, and good life to the fastball as well for Joe Blanton, who has done that over his last 13 starts. 5-0, including the postseason. The 0-1. Navarro trying to bunt.
It's a bad play. 2 out, nobody on, trying to bunt. If Navarro was a fast runner, if he were B.J. Upton or Carl Crawford, this would be a good play. A station-to-station runner and hitter should not be trying to bunt with 2 out, nobody on.
Navarro would not chase. Ball 1. Up and in. 2-2. We're working with a tight strike zone here tonight as Blanton started to walk away, but Tom Hallion called that pitch ball 3.
It was close.
2 out, nobody on. Blanton gives up the line drive, base hit into right. And a 2-out single keeps the top of the second inning alive for Ben Zobrist.
I'm not sure Jason Worth was thinking about it.
I know what you were.
Navarro was thinking about a possibility of Worth throwing to first base. That's why he ran a straight line to first base and did not take the turn. The ball hit to Worth. Worth But Navarro thought there might be a play, and I mean, he scooted down the first base line.
I think he at least had a play.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's no risk right there because the catcher backs up the play.
Here's Zobrist. He goes up there hacking and pops it into shallow center. Out goes Utley. In comes Victorino, and you can hear him call to end the inning. Bottom of the second in Philadelphia. Phillies bat up 1-0. Second inning rolls in. Carlos Ruiz gets a nice hand, and he should. He's slugging over 1,000 in this World Series. Last night went deep for a home run and then won the game with the bases loaded, nobody out, with an infield chopper up the third baseline to win it in the bottom of the ninth. He's in the hole here 0-2. Joe Blanton will follow as this one is hit in the air to right. Zobrist is back on the track for out number one. Prior to tonight's game, Aramis Ramirez of the Cubs and Kevin Youkilis of the Red Sox were recipients of the 2008 Hank Aaron Award, presented by Sharp. This annual award given to the top offensive player in each league as voted on by the fans. So you've got Aramis Ramirez of Chicago and Kevin Youkilis, Hank Aaron Award winners for 2008. Here's Blanton, and there's ball one. Blanton is 1 for 16 during the regular season this year, 2 for 31 career, as you saw, including the postseason. Swinging the bat. Guy who came up in the A's organization, and he kind of slaps at it and fouls it away, strike two. Came up with the A's in 2004. Won 12 games in 05. 16 games in 06, 14 games in 07, but it started to fall apart a little bit this year. Ken Rosenthal, a 5-12 record in 2008, and yet he's been a pretty consistent performer, Ken, since he came to the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yes, Joe, especially in the postseason, where you see him now averaging more than 1 strikeout per inning. One reason the A's traded him is because his walks were up, his strikeouts were down, and he stood to make about $7 million in arbitration next season. But when you think about it, CC Sabathia and Rich Harden were the big prizes pitching-wise at the trade deadline, and here's Joe Blanton in the World Series.
And Joe Blanton, as we mentioned, when he's been on the mound, this team is 11-4 when he makes a start. First pitch, a strike to Jimmy Rollins, who doubled and scored his first time up. This guy just flat makes this team go offensively.
He's an eye-opener.
Good pitch from Sonnenstein. In the 85 wins when Rollins has been in the lineup, he's hit .318 and scored 64 runs. When he's been in there during the 64 losses, he's hit just .206 and scored 19 runs. When he gets on, and then you get into the heart of this order in this ballpark, they hit a lot of home runs. This Philly team is tough to beat. That ball is into right field. Zobrist plays it on a bounce. And Rollins is 2 for 2. And 4 for 6 since this series got to Philadelphia.
Talking about an eye-opener, when Jimmy Rollins gets on, he prevents the Philadelphia Phillies from becoming a station-to-station ball club with his speed. He really opens things up offensively, and this is going to be a very interesting confrontation between Sonnenstein and Rollins. Remember, Sonnenstein has allowed 2 stolen bases the last 2 years.
Only guy to get him this year was Russell Martin. Breaking ball drops low for ball one to Jason Worth. That's in his career. Sonnenstein, last couple of years, just 13 attempts, only 4 this season. So they don't even test him. 1 ball, 1 strike. You'll see Charlie Manuel with a stopwatch in his hand most of the time, and there you go, looking at it in his left hand, and he is timing how quick a pitcher is to the plate and delivering it to see if they can run. Worth swings at it off balance, and Zobrist is there to end the inning. We go into the third here in Game 4. Tampa Bay will bat. Bottom two in their lineup. We'll look at City Hall with Philadelphia on top 1-0. Joe Blanton has looked extremely sharp here through 2 innings, and he fires a fastball for a strike to Jason Bartlett. Andy Sonnenstein will follow, and then Akinori Iwamura for the Rays, as that one is up a little tight. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-0 Philadelphia on a bases loaded walk in the first inning. And the run as a result of another call that went against the Rays. A missed call on a tag at third base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And another strikeout, 4 already for Joe Blanton.
And once again, his stuff is sharp tonight. That slider going down to get Jason Bartlett.
And here's Andy Sonnenstein, a 4 for 10 career hitter with an RBI. Throws right, bats left, and takes high, ball 1. Trying to get on in front of Iwamura. In for a strike. It's 1-1. Joe Blanton was the A's opening day starter. That one skips in. Good pick by Ruiz, and the count 2-1.
Yeah, that was March 25th in Tokyo when the Athletics played the Boston Red Sox.
And a base hit into left by Sonnenstein. So including the postseason, now 5 for 11 in the big leagues, swinging the bat. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Sprint. Get more done with Nextel Direct Connect, only on the Now Network. By Sharp Aquos LCD TVs. Change your TV, change your life. By Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by Chevy, an American revolution. So 1 on, 1 out for Iwamura. He flied to the wall and left his first time, and a tailing fastball for strike 1. Akinori Iwamura was a 6-time Gold Glove Award winner as a third baseman in Japan, as he tries to bunts it foul. And I know Ken Rosenthal, the Tampa Bay Rays, were extremely excited with how easily he took to second base.
Absolutely, Joe. And Tom Foley told me, one of their coaches, that Iwamura came over game ready. Basically, when he returned this offseason to spring training, he was ready to go at second. He was a 6-time Gold Glove winner at third base in Japan, and he was willing and able to make that transition over to second.
The reason he did it was to obviously clear space for Evan Longoria, and that's worked out well on both fronts, as that one's up and in to Iwamura, and the count's 2-2. Chopper to short. Rollins lays back, and the Phillies can get only 1. So the force out at second, and B.J. Upton will be the hitter as the inning continues. 24 fans, the wait is almost over. Television's most addictive drama returns on November 23rd with an exciting 2-hour event. 24 Redemption, featuring the all-new Hyundai Genesis. 24 Redemption on November 23rd. And those of us who have been lucky enough to see an advanced screening of it give it high praise. 1 on, 2 out. B.J. Upton grounds to the left side. Rollins goes to his right. The inning is over. We go to the bottom of the third, and it'll be Utley, Ryan, and Burrell. hitting for Philly, while Joe Blanton pitching for Philly is off to a great start. We move into the bottom of the third inning here in Philadelphia. Phillies bat. They lead 1-0 and lead this series 2-1. Part of the order for Philadelphia: Utley, Howard, and Burrell. 2 walks in the first inning from Sonnenstein. Utley had one of them. That's up for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch. Utley takes high, ball 2, 2-0. Talked about how rare the 2 walks were in the first inning. Missed call at third base or not, how rare was the second walk? A bases loaded walk to Pat Burrell, and it was the first bases loaded walk in the career of Andy Sonnenstein. Here's a 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Sonnenstein limited the damage by getting Victorino on a comebacker, a force at the plate, and then Phillies fly to center. The 2-1 to Utley is down and in. 3-1.
There are different ways to be wild, and often this is the worst form of wildness. 3-1 to a home run hitter in a small ballpark.
Here's a strike as Utley started to head down to first. Full count. Good pitch. 3-2. And reaching for it, grounding it to the right side, and Iwamura kicks it. That ball took a funny bounce. I think it hit the lip. The lip between the dirt and the grass initially, and then took another weird bounce. It didn't. It just took a bad hop. Came up a little and hit the heel of the glove, and it's an error. The 10th error of the postseason for Tampa Bay.
Well, with the shift on, Iwamura is not used to fielding a ball that close to first base. But a ball that should have been fielded, and an error on Iwamura.
So all 10 of those errors have come in the last 8 games for this Tampa Bay Rays defense. And now Ryan Howard takes a strike. A breaking ball from Sonnenstein, and it has not mattered who's been on the mound or what team that pitcher is pitched for. It's been a ton of breaking balls for Ryan Howard.
Milwaukee, the Dodgers, Tampa Bay in postseason have all thrown him one breaking ball after another.
And this one is ripped into right field. Zobrist cuts it off. Going to third is Utley. First and third, nobody out. 4th hit of this series for Ryan Howard.
And this is the reason that teams have been throwing him breaking balls one after the other. That was a fastball right down the pipe. Ryan Howard probably thinking, my gosh, when's the last time I saw that pitch?
Good play by Zobrist to get it before it got by him. That saved a run, maybe for the moment. First and third with nobody out for Pat Burrell. An error, then the single. Ball 1 outside. One ball, one strike.
Good slider going down and away to even the count to Burrell.
The 1-1. High and tight. 2-1. This Philadelphia team is 5-0 at home this postseason and 23-6 since the 9th of August playing at home here in Philadelphia. That's the best record in baseball. High and tight again. 3-1. Little shake of the head from Joe Madden, not used to seeing Sonnenstein behind one hitter after another.
The 6th 3-ball count by Sonnenstein in this game.
Breaking ball runs it full.
No way to send Ryan Howard here because Burrell is strikeout victim, and with Howard's speed, if he does strike out, he's an easy out at second base.
Ray's infield is back. They'll give up a run for the double play. Burrell pops it into shallow left center field. Bartlett is out there and hauls it in for out number 1. This is unbelievable, the futility that the Phillies have displayed here with a chance to score runs in this World Series.
It really is. Charlie Manuel preaches slow feet and quick hands, meaning wait as long as you can. And as you can see with Burrell trying to get out front too quickly. Get out front too quickly. Hitters call it lunging at the ball. Now Joe Madden wants to talk. Talking to Carlos Pena and Deanna Navarro.
So this is a Phillies offense that's 0 for 5 tonight with runners in scoring position. 2 out of 38 in this World Series. Team that scored 799 runs during the regular season.
I think the reason he was talking to Pena, he was telling Carlos, a ball hit to you, if it's slowly hit, come home. If it's hit hard, then you can go with a double play. But Victorino, a very fast runner, tough to double.
There's a strike over the outside corner. Victorino with a chance. First and third, 1 out. And that goes up and away. The 1-1 pitch from Sonnenstein is fouled out of play off to the left. That's strike 2. By the way, the 799 runs that the Phillies scored during the regular season, second most in the National League behind the Chicago Cubs. And yet runs have been so hard to come by with so many opportunities for the Phillies.
The Rays book on Victorino with 2 strikes, try to keep the ball up.
Victorino pops it up. Out goes Bartlett again. Almost dropped it. That ball started to pop out of his glove, and now 0 for 6 are the Phillies tonight with runners in scoring position.
And that's the reason, Joe, that they try to keep the ball up on Victorino. He does not have a strong top hand, and he gets under the fastball that's right around the letters and pops up again. And yet again, the Phillies strand a runner at third with less than 2 outs.
And again, the infield has been back.
Yeah.
They're willing to give up the run to get the double play. Even with nobody out, they were. And here's Pedro Feliz, first and third, 2 outs, strike 1. Phillies in this category 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs during the World Series. They ask for Pedro Feliz to rescue this opportunity. That's just inside, a ball and a strike. The Rays, when they come to bat in the 4th inning, will have the heart of their lineup. Pena, Longoria, and Crawford. An error, a hit, and now 2 pop-ups. Here's a 1-1. Line drive, base hit. Phillies breaks through, and it's 2-0 Philadelphia.
Sonnenstein kicking himself right now. He threw a good slider to Phillies on that first pitch. But the 1-1 pitch, a backup slider just hanging there, begging to be hit hard. Hammered to left.
And now breaking ball is up and in as the Phillies get their first hit. It makes it out of the infield with runners in scoring position during this World Series. And for Pedro Feliz, who's in there for his glove more than his bat, that had to feel good. 2-0 Phillies on top. Ruiz now takes ball 2. 2-0. On deck is the pitcher Blanton. It's an unearned run. Anything else the rest of the inning will be unearned, as the bottom of the 3rd started with that error by Iwamura. Here's a 2-0. 2-1. On 2-1 with 2 on, 2 out. A foul backing out of play. 2-2. Phillies would love to stop hearing about how they've struggled with runners in scoring position. Feliz helped that. Ruiz trying to do the same, and that's up the middle. Iwamura, what a good play. Keeps it on the infield, and the bases are loaded.
Think about the wisdom of that play. With 2 outs and a runner on at second base, infielders are reminded that if you have to dive for a ball, do it, even if you don't have a play. And that saved a run temporarily, particularly with the pitcher coming up and the bases loaded.
Lead runner is Howard, who wasn't going to go anywhere when the ball dropped out of the glove of Iwamura, who probably didn't have a play. And with the bases loaded, 2 out, here's the pitcher Joe Blanton, who has 1 hit all year and 1 RBI. First from Sonnenstein, strike 1. Struck out his first time, did Blanton. Now 0 for 6 this postseason. Bases loaded, 2 out. And a little pop-up right side for Pena. The Phillies have already stranded 8, but in this inning they add to their lead. It started with an error by Iwamura, base hit by Ryan Howard, and the 2-out RBI by Feliz. 2-0 Philadelphia. Welcome back to Game 4. Boys and Girls Clubs of America is the official charity of Major League Baseball, reaching more than 4 million kids worldwide. Together they create a positive place for kids. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Well, Sonnenstein has been a little erratic. He's fallen behind a lot of hits. We just had a chance to visit with his pitching coach, Jim Hickey. We'll play that for you. While the Rays bat in the 4th inning down 2-0. It's Pena, Longoria, and Crawford, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, and this 3-4 combination still hitless, 0 for 24 now in this World Series. Pena fouled out to the catcher his first time up. Tampa Bay Rays need a lift. And this is one of the guys that can give it to him. Strike one.
For the game, just thinking about Pena, Blanton is the type pitcher that Pena and Longoria could get out of their slump against because he's more standardized. He's not a left-hander, and he doesn't have the stuff that Brett Myers had in Game 2.
2 balls and a strike.
You know, that said, Blanton is throwing as well as he could throw tonight so far.
Pena leading off the inning takes a strike, and the count's 2-2. Longoria next. 2-0 Phillies as they lead this World Series 2-1. Another strikeout for Pena, another strikeout for Blanton. He has 5 already tonight. So we update the combined 3 and 4 hitters, still nothing. 0 for 25 with 12 strikeouts mixed in.
Wow.
Here is Longoria. Here is Chris Myers. Chris.
Hey, Joe, last inning, Longoria asked him to turn the heater on here in the dugout. And last night he was mad, hot at himself for swinging at those low and away pitches. In batting practice earlier today, he said he had to return to basics and get his bat on the ball and try and make something happen. He felt mechanically he isn't doing anything wrong, and he feels he's closer to getting back to his swing.
All right, Chris, well, he's still hitless. He checked on Jimmy Rollins in the hole at short. He showed off his good arm. And Longoria a little slow to get his start down the first baseline, out by a step, and with the bases empty, 2 out, here's Crawford. So the frustration continues for the 23-year-old Evan Longoria. Crawford takes ball 1.
Sometimes the mechanics of the mind overwhelm the mechanics of the body, particularly for a young, inexperienced player. Certainly not overwhelmed prior to the World Series, but perhaps could be in the World Series.
On 1-1, Crawford gave up on the pitch, came back for strike 2. Crawford hits one in the air to right. Back is Worth at the wall. It's gone, and the lead is cut in half. Crawford has his second home run of this postseason. It's 2-1.
Talked about Jimmy Rollins being the eye-opener for the Phillies. Carl Crawford with an eye-opening home run. That ball looked like it got inside on him. Looked like it jammed him. But the dimensions are not long here at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Crawford hitting one in about the same spot down at the Tropicana Dome in St. Petersburg.
He hit a home run in the 4th inning against Cole Hamels, as this one is up the middle. Rollins to his left to end the inning. Crawford, who missed time with a torn tendon in his right middle finger, said he was surprised. Didn't think he would have his power this postseason. He goes deep for the second time in the World Series, even jammed, and it's 2-1 Philly. Joe Blanton's still down there talking about that pitch that Carl Crawford hit out for a home run to cut the lead in half. It's 2-1 Philadelphia on top. Bottom of the 4th inning. Top of the order for the Phillies. Rollins, Worth, and then Chase Utley. Sonnenstein gave up a run in the 1st, a run in the 3rd, and Rollins has been a thorn in his side. 2 for 2. Ken Rosenthal, what did Joe Blanton say when he came back to the dugout after giving up that home run?
Joe, he was stunned that that ball went out. It was one of those only in Citizens Bank Park moments for him. What he said was, wow, I thought I broke his bat.
It kind of sounded odd. He certainly, Tim, did not get his arms extended. It was crisp. I don't think he broke his bat, but To watch that swing in slow motion, it's amazing it carried out of here.
Well, the reason you pitch guys inside is to take away their power.
Here's one to the right side. Iwamura's had a rough night. See if that's a hit or an error. Either way, the leadoff man is on for Philadelphia.
Ball goes under his glove. Actually, he put a glove on it, I believe. But a ball that Iwamura normally plays. I think it should be a base hit for Jimmy Rollins. He had too far to go, really. But I mean, that's why you pitch guys inside, is to take away their strength. You crowd them and they bring their arms in and you think you have them. And Crawford's so strong, he just popped it out of here.
It is a base hit for Jimmy Rollins. And a check on the leadoff man. Now they've changed it from a hit to an error. So initially a hit, now an error, and that is number 2 on the night for Iwamura. Just after Ken's report about him being a 6-time Gold Glove Award winner as a third baseman in Japan and taking so well to second base, he made only 7 errors during the regular season, but 2 here in Game 4.
That last one a tough error, I thought. If the ball hops up and he makes a bad play, then it could be an error. But when it stayed down like that, I thought it should have been a base hit.
Jason Worth is at the plate 0 for 2. He's flied to right twice. That's over but low for a ball. We had a chance to talk to Jim Hickey, the pitching coach for Andy Sonnenstein, and after the next pitch we'll give it to you. We did that before the top of the 4th. First question to Hickey was about Andy Sonnenstein. Has been in trouble, but he has limited the damage tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. He came within 1 out right there, stranding that runner at third base. He did a nice job. A little bit of a mistake in the first inning. He probably, you know, in hindsight, should have went to second base on the Howard comebacker to try to end the inning with a double play. But overall, very pleased with the way he's limited the damage.
Are you worried, or is it a blessing for a 12-day layoff for a guy like Sonnenstein heading into this start?
I wasn't worried. He had thrown considerably in between the starts. Was available to pitch in relief a couple of times. We kept kind of a steady workload. So he hasn't been out in the game in 12 days, but he's continued to throw. So I wouldn't have expected much of a drop off.
How's that hard throwing left-hander in your bullpen getting along? And might we see him tonight, David Price?
Well, I certainly hope we have an opportunity to see him. That would probably mean we have a lead later in the ball game. So he's in great shape. He threw 42 pitches the other day, had 1 day off, and felt fine just yesterday also. So he's in good shape today.
All right, Jim, thanks for joining us.
All righty.
And now Jim joins his starter Sonnenstein out on the mound with Keanu Navarro in the infield. And action will start with Jackson getting loose, the hard-throwing right-hander, and Trevor Miller, the lefty.
Joe, I thought that was a good question about the long layoff to Jim Hickey, and I don't think it's necessarily affected the effectiveness of Sonnenstein, but I think you can clearly say that it's affected his control. 3 walks. Again, that matches his career high, and as Joe said earlier, 140 career starts
in his pro career. And now Utley, another chance for this Philadelphia club. They lead by 1. They have 2 on with nobody out. The number 3 man, Utley, at the plate, who is 0 for 1 with a walk, reached on an error, and he scored a run. Breaking ball for a strike. Utley drove home 104 runs during the regular season. He has 9 this postseason, 4 in this World Series. Strike 2 on Utley. Edwin Jackson, the right-hander out in the bullpen for Tampa Bay, has closers type stuff. If this situation gets any more serious, and that's a good start for Tampa Bay to get out of it. A strikeout on 3 pitches to Chase Utley, and that last one was nasty.
Yeah, we talked about how Blanton thought Carl Crawford was tied up. Well, that is a slider diving in off the plate to get Chase Utley.
So not only do the runners stay where they are, but so do the infielders. Overloaded on the right side for Ryan Howard, who is 1 for 2. 2 on with 1 out. Ball 1 low.
I don't think Ryan Howard will see a fastball in the middle of the plate like he did the last time up.
'25-year-old right-hander from Wadsworth, Ohio, Andy Sonnenstein, in another jam. He's been pitching out of trouble all night. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pat Burrell on deck. This 4-5 combination for the Phillies with just 1 RBI total. Throw down to second, and back easily is Rollins.
Rollins dancing off second, and Navarro with a very strong arm.
Two balls and a strike. 2 on, 1 out. And Howard hits it in the air to left. This ball will carry out. 5-1 Philadelphia.
Charlie Manuel telling us that if Ryan Howard gets hot, he can lift this team on those broad shoulders and carry them to a world championship. A home run last night and a standing O tonight.
Here is Pat Burrell now with the bases cleared, 1 out. He takes a strike.
Breaking ball in the middle of the plate. Gone.
The 0-1. Outside, a ball and a strike, and Rollins knew it right away as Ryan Howard finally, Tim, went the other way. Burrell pops it up. Navarro gets rid of the mask and makes the play, 2 out.
Remember, we were talking in that first inning when Charlie Manuel telling Ryan Howard almost on a daily basis, Ryan, do yourself and your team a favor and hit the ball to left field. Well, he just did.
To left, up, and out. And it's 5-1 here in the 4th inning with 2 out, nobody on for Shane Victorino. And a pop-up right side. Pena gives it a look, but it's out of his reach. Strike 1. The Rays in the 5th will have the bottom 3 in their lineup, and that may include a pinch hitter. Not only has the control tonight been off for Sonnenstein, but his stuff just doesn't look very crisp.
No.
It gets Victorino to pop out again. Longoria wants it. He has it. Victorino hitless on the night. Ryan Howard not hitless on the night. An opposite field blast. 5-1 after 4. Back after this from your local Fox station. Well, Andy Sonnenstein is due up third in this 5th inning for the Tampa Bay Rays. He just gave up the opposite field home run to Ryan Howard. We'll see if he will continue in this game as Ben Zobrist takes a ball outside. 5-1 Philadelphia as we start playing the 5th inning. The 1-0 pitch is down and in from Blanton, who now has a little breathing room. Zobrist is one of the hotter hitters down the stretch for the Tampa Bay Rays and makes his 2nd start in this World Series. There's a strike. 2-1. That was the home plate umpire Tom Hallion yelling at somebody in the dugout for the Tampa Bay Rays who was on him about that last pitch. 2-2. We had a quick chat with Milt Thompson, the hitting coach for the Phillies. We'll try to get to you here in this 5th inning. 2-2 pitch is lifted in the air to left center. I got it. You know who's got it. That's Victorino. 1 out in the top of the 5th, and the first question to Milt was about how good it must have felt down there, and smiles all around to see Ryan Howard hit a home run the opposite way in the bottom of the 4th.
Oh, that felt good. I've been waiting for that one the whole series, for him to hit a ball that way like that. It's a good thing. He got a couple hits and got comfortable up there and was looking for a pitch out of way and got his hands extended and didn't miss it.
And Milt, what a difference it makes, just the overall feel and look of your ball club when Jimmy Rollins gets on base, and he's been all over the place tonight.
That's why he won the MVP last year. I mean, he's a great player. When he gets on, he sets the table. He gets everything going for us.
Milt, thanks for your time.
Take care, guys.
All right. Jimmy Rollins has been on base 3 times tonight. He scored twice. Could very well have 3 hits. He has 2 hits, reached on an error prior to that 3-run home run. This is Bartlett, and a pinch hitter is on deck. And Bartlett grounds it off the leg of Blanton. What a play by Phillies. 2 out.
Normally, when a ball is hit somewhere else, you have a tendency to relax. But watch Phillies. Not relaxing at all, off the leg of Blanton, and Phillies gets his man by about 2.5 strides. A 1-5-3 put out. Well, that is a terrific alert play by a very, very good fielder.
And now Eric Hinske will get his first at bat. Hinske was just added to the active roster because during the day the Tampa Bay Rays found out that the shoulder of Cliff Floyd, he has a labrum issue, will not allow him to continue playing this postseason. So they made a roster move, and that means that Floyd is lost for the rest of the series, and Eric Hinske is set to go, and he pinch hits here in the 5th inning. Sonnenstein is finished after 4. He allows 5 runs on 6 hits. With a home run mixed in there, he walked 3, which is rare, and struck out 2.
As Kevin Kennedy said in the pregame show, if the Rays lose tonight, they will not be, or I guess they will be facing elimination tomorrow night, but as importantly, they'll be facing Cole Hamels.
How about Hinske off the bench? He goes deep to center field, and I mean deep, off that back brick wall, and that makes it a 3-run game. So they add Hinske to the active roster, and in his first at bat he goes deep to center off the bench. It's 5-2. I'd say Joe Madden pulled the right string there.
Well, I should say so. First at bat in the World Series, a pinch hit home run. One of the deepest parts of the ballpark.
That's the 2nd pinch hit home run of this series, and there it goes, and it was a no-doubter. Now Iwamura, with his team down by 3, has the count even at a ball and a strike. This one's back to Blanton, picks it up, gets the out, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. Hinske goes deep off the bench 5-2 Philadelphia after 4.5. It's a 3-run game here in the 5th inning. Game 4 of this World Series. 5-2 Philadelphia on top. And Edwin Jackson, who spent the year in the rotation, made 31 starts for Tampa Bay, is into the game. And this guy can really bring it. Hard throwing right-hander deals, and it's fouled back behind the plate. Deanna Navarro puts it away, and that's out number 1. A Verizon game summary so far. Here's what's happened. Pat Burrell with a bases loaded walk in the 1st. Carl Crawford went deep, a solo shot in the 4th inning, and then Ryan Howard, his 3-run blast is the difference in this game. He went the opposite way in the 4th. In essence, chased Andy Sonnenstein as he only lasted 4 innings, and now gives way to Jackson. Here's a guy who tied the club record with his 14 wins during the regular season, but left out of the starting rotation this postseason. So coming out of the pen, his 1-0 pitch. That's over but low. It's 2-0. And that's Tom Hallion, who is trying to figure out who it is down there in the dugout who's giving him trouble. So he's getting it from the bench. And some of those Rays players down there were laughing at the reaction by Tom Hallion, who came screaming down at him from behind home plate.
Yeah.
Ruiz, meanwhile, waits for a 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Jackson's a guy that the Rays got from the Dodgers when they traded Danis Baez. Here's a ground ball left side. Longoria backs up a bit and gets the out. Ruiz is now 1 for 3. And Blanton will be the hitter. The World Series on Fox is sponsored by Chevy Traverse. It's everything you've ever wished for, and then some. Edwin Jackson came to this Tampa Bay team as Blanton stands in back in 2006. Last year he won 5 games. That's it. This year 14 and 11. Blanton is now 0 for 7 this postseason. There's a strike. 2 out, nobody on. Top of the 6th inning, it will be Upton, Pena, and Longoria. 2-1.
If you're Joe Blanton and you're starting a game, probably telling his teammates, guys, get me 3 at bats the first 5 innings, and I'll take my chances. Then you know the Phillies have scored some runs, and they've scored 5.
The 2-1 is hit well into left. How about Blanton going deep?
Unbelievable.
You have to go back to 1974. Kenny Holtzman, the last pitcher to hit a home run. Blanton is now the 15th. First career home run, and it comes in the World Series.
On a high fastball. Joe Blanton's first at bat as a Philly, he had a hit. And his last at bat as a Philly, he's had a hit.
This one leaves the park. It's 6-2 here in the 5th inning, and Jimmy Rollins, who's been on base 3 times, takes a strike.
What did I just do? Guys, tell me.
And there's the other pitching hitting star. Brett Myers is over there hugging him, hitting 800 this postseason. Rollins is jammed. Iwamura makes the play, and we go into the 6th inning, game 4. He's doing it with his arm. He is doing it with his bat. Up and out, 6-2 Philly after 5. Wireless phone as B.J. Upton takes the ball up and in. The heart of Joe Blanton has to be racing after he just pounded a home run, and he leads World Series game 4 6-2, and we'll see if he can calm down, throw strikes, and continue pitching as well as he has to this point. Big chance here for the Rays as they have the 2, 3, and 4 batters as the hitters, and the count's 2-1 on B.J. Upton, who's 0 for 2. 2-2. Upton didn't like the call.
Upton thought the ball was inside. It looked like a slider over the middle of the plate. Often, watch Upton's arms. When the arms go up, they think it's inside. But that was a strike.
Upton hits it in the air to right. Worth to his left. 1 out. Here's the reaction when Joe Blanton came out to take the field after the homer.
Joe, in 1968, as Blanton pumps his first home run of his career in 1968 for the Detroit Tigers in game 2, Mickey Lolich hit a home run. It was not only his only major league home run ever, but he'd never hit one in Little League or anywhere. And he hit it in the World Series against the Cardinals.
Here's Carlos Pena, takes the ball a little high.
And I called it.
You didn't get to catch it.
No. High fastball from Nelson Briles.
Pena's 0 for 2. Longoria on deck, 0 for 2 tonight. Good swing by Pena. Shane Victorino is wearing a microphone for us tonight.
I think they're waiting for you. I think they're waiting for you. They're waiting for you.
Victorino sent him out for the curtain call as Pena chases the pitch from Blanton, who's doing it all. 1-2. Boy, he's got great stuff tonight.
Oh, that's a breaking ball. I don't think the Phillies have seen that type breaking ball from Blanton since they acquired him back on July 17th.
Two and 2. Well, when the Phillies ended up with Joe Blanton as their big mid-season pitching rotation addition, a lot of fans, and I'm sure even some of the Phillies were thinking, wait a minute, CC Sabathia was out there. That pitch is down and in. There were other pitchers that were dangled. But the Phillies ended up with Joe Blanton on July 17th from Oakland, and all the Phillies do when he takes the ball as a starter is win. Fouled back. 11-4 when he starts. If it's 12-4 after tonight, the Phillies will be 1 win away from their second World Series championship in their franchise history. And the first for this championship-starved city. It hasn't been able to celebrate one in the 4 major sports since 1983 when the Sixers won. Three balls, 2 strikes on Carlos Pena. Fouled back. Even Blanton's teammate Rich Harden was a bigger splash when he left the A's and ended up with the Chicago Cubs. Chad Godin also a part of that deal. As Ken Rosenthal said earlier in the night, here is Joe Blanton, of all of the aforementioned pitchers, working on October 26th in the World Series. 3-2 pitch, a 1-out walk. One on, one out in the World Series on Fox is sponsored by the new Hyundai Genesis. It all starts with this. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. And by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. That is the first walk handed out by Joe Blanton here tonight. And here is Longoria. And there's another swinging strike.
Had a ball down and out of the strike zone. The slider. Mentioned it in the opening. He is a high ball hitter who has been going out of his zone down in the strike zone.
That's foul outside third. Gillette is proud to be associated with the Rookie of the Month award, and this year's Gillette Rookie of the Month for June was Evan Longoria. 26 games. Evan hit 8 home runs, had 19 RBIs, hit 300 and slugged .650. That's in the dirt, squirts away, but Pena stays put at first. Evan Longoria, who pounded 27 home runs overall as a rookie. The 1-2 right down the middle, 2 out. 6 strikeouts for Joe Blanton.
Evan Longoria in such a funk he can't even hit to his strength, the high fastball.
Now it's Crawford who's homered tonight. Swings through it, strike 1. Carl had that torn tendon in his right middle finger. He's told he'd be out 6 to 8 weeks. That ball hits him on the foot or ankle. It'll send Crawford down to first, and now with Deoner Navarro coming up with one swing of the bat, the Rays could be right back in this as that breaking ball went down and hit the top of the left foot.
Deoner Navarro with 7 home runs on the year. Remember, in this ballpark, the dimensions are not as big as they are down at Tropicana Field. Two solo home runs for the Rays tonight.
Navarro is 2 for 8 in his career against Joe Blanton as Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, makes a quick visit. And with 2 on and 2 out, here is an opportunity for the Rays with Navarro at the plate. Lead runner is Pena. He drew a walk. Carl Crawford hit by a pitch. And a ball in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes on Navarro, who is singled and grounded out tonight. .295 hitter during the regular season. Started tonight hitting .294 this postseason. A wide strike. Navarro doesn't agree, and the count's 1-1.
Navarro thought that pitch was outside and appeared to be. You could even see Ruiz going out about 4 inches.
A let's go Joe chant for Blanton as that one is in about the same spot. Ball 2, 2-1. Chad Durbin, the right-hander. Scott Air, the left-hander, getting loose. The 2-1. On the outside corner, it's 2-2. Strikeout number 7 for Joe Blanton. Six-2 into the 6-2 Phillies lead it, bottom of the 6th inning, and Jackson back to the hill. Jason Worth first up, and a riding fastball is high and tight, ball 1. Worth tonight is fly to right twice, walked and scored. Chase Utley up next, and then Ryan Howard. Poured in at 96, 1 ball, 1 strike. There's another, strike 2. Think about this Tampa Bay Rays offense coming into tonight's game. They have popped 2 home runs, have 2 runs on 4 hits, but they've been shut down for the most part by Joe Blanton. Into this game, since game 5 of the ALCS, this offense hitting as a group 188 for Tampa Bay, averaging 3 runs per game, 4 home runs. That's coming into tonight. Here is a shot into left center field, and that ball is off the wall. Worth will start this 6th inning with a double. And while the Tampa Bay offense remains quiet, the Phillies bats, Tims, are starting to wake up.
Yeah, Edwin Jackson meant to go away. You could see Navarro setting up away. This ball tailing back over the inside part of the plate and just hammered to left center field off the lower part of the wall by Jason Worth.
So Blanton hoping for more run support. He and the Phillies lead 6-2, and here's Chase Utley. The Tampa Bay offense through the first 9 games of the postseason. They were 6-3 as a team, and as a group they hit .287, averaged over 6.5 runs per game, hit 19 home runs. From game 6, 7 of the ALCS through the first 3+ games of this World Series, the offense has been very quiet.
Now, the one thing you're seeing from Edwin Jackson, you're seeing one pitch, the same speed. And regardless of how hard you throw, even if you're in the mid-90s, 96, 90, even 97, you've got to mix in a wrinkle like that.
1 ball, 1 strike. There is Cliff Floyd, who is now no longer active for the Tampa Bay Rays with a bad shoulder, allowed to be on the bench through Major League Baseball rules, but he was replaced on the active roster by Eric Hinsky, who has homered tonight as a pinch hitter. Did that back in the 5th. Here's a 1-1 to Chase Utley. Strike 2. Ryan Howard's had a big night tonight with a single and a 3-run opposite field home run. Still 1-2. The pitching matchup for tomorrow, game 5, is a rematch of game 1 with Scott Kazmir, the lefty, going against the left-hander Cole Hamels. Phillies are leading here tonight, trying to start this postseason 6-0 at home, and they will have their best. The best starter on either roster going tomorrow night in that man, Cole Hamels. Here's a 1-2. 2-2. Utley does not have a hit tonight, but he's been on base twice with an error and a walk. Utley out in front, hooks it foul. This could be one of the better sports days in the history of this great sports city. Philadelphia Eagles won today over the Atlanta Falcons. Their record now 4-3, 27-14 win. The Flyers defeat the Devils yesterday. The Phillies won last night into the early morning, and now the Phillies are leading here tonight after that Eagles win across the street. Phillies lead 6-2. The 2-2 pitch fouled back. And across the street, the Who is singing "I Can't Explain." That group, the Who, has played together as long as Jamie Moyer's been alive. Last night's starter, as strike 3 is in from Edwin Jackson. And Chase Utley strikes out for the second time tonight.
And now one would think you walk Ryan Howard to get to Pat Burrell, because Ryan Howard does a lot of this. He did it 48 times this year, and 2 home runs in the last 2 nights.
By far the biggest swing of the night, a 3-run shot, and now the respect is being paid to Ryan Howard. Ken Rosenthal is with us, and Ken, I mentioned Jamie Moyer, who was so good last night pitching into the 7th inning. Everybody keeps talking about his age. That was kind of front and center, but there was more to the story last night for Jamie Moyer. He wasn't feeling well at all, was he?
No, Joe, that was the untold story. Moyer had a severe stomach virus. It started when the series was in St. Petersburg, and then Friday night, on the eve of his first World Series start, was a really rough night for him. Not only did he have that stomach problem, he was sweating profusely. His wife Karen told me last night, it was so bad I had to change the sheets twice. He ruined 2 pillows. Our comforter is at the cleaners right now. Now, Jamie took a lot of aspirin and some stomach medication, but he said he never considered missing the start. When I asked him about that possibility, he just looked at me and said, "Are you kidding me?"
That is only detail that you find with Ken Rosenthal.
That's right.
I don't know, in this case, I wanted to hear it. 2 on with 1 out for Pat Burrell. And a strike from Edwin Jackson. If the Rays want any hope of having a chance to come back in this game, Edwin Jackson has got to put the clamps down on the rest of this 6th inning and keep this a 4-run game. We've talked all postseason long how good the late inning relief is for the Phillies. Here's a ground ball too short, not hard hit. Bartlett has it. Out at second, out at first, a double play. And the inning is over. Even with a little bobble, a 6-4-3 double play. 6-2 into the 7th. Back after this from your local Fox station. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Now get over 130 of your favorite channels in HD. 7th inning now, getting late for the Tampa Bay Rays as they try and even this World Series at 2 games apiece. Breaking ball is low. Eric Bruntlett takes over in left field. Pat Burrell is finished for the rest of the night, and Burrell will end this night 0 for 3, and he's now 0 for 12 in this World Series as Ben Zobrist is up on the count here 2-0. There is action for the Phillies in their bullpen as Zobrist takes a strike over the outside corner. 2-1.
Joe, we said in our scouting report that if the Phillies get 6 innings out of Joe Blanton, they'd be very, very happy. They're playing with house money right now.
That's down and in. 3-1. Again, it's Chad Durbin and Scott Air, and I would imagine any hiccup here by Joe Blanton. We could see the Phillies go to the pen. That ball is fouled out of play. Full count. There is Dan Wheeler getting loose for Tampa Bay in their pen. The Rays will need a pinch hitter here in the 7th. It's Zobrist, then Bartlett, then a pinch hitter. Good start tonight by Joe Blanton. 3-2 pitch is over but low. A leadoff walk. Talked about the detail from Ken Rosenthal. On the other side, we have our own Chris Myers, who worked the sideline today at the Eagles-Falcons game. Driven over here across the street to the baseball game by the Fanatic, along with Rich Russo, director here at Fox Sports. Chris and the Fanatic getting high fives all the way over. Getting here at 4:30 to the baseball stadium, and Russo gets a surprise. And those are our 2 sideline guys, and the guy on the right, Ken Rosenthal, will watch Joe Blanton join him in the dugout as he's lifted here in the 7th. .99 pitches for Joe Blanton, 6+ innings, 2 runs, 4 hits. If he gets a decision, he can only be the winner. He's responsible for the runner at first. There's nobody out. A leadoff walk, and now representing that bullpen that's gone 5 2/3, allowing 1 earned run, 1 hit during this World Series. Chad Durbin to pitch to Jason Bartlett. Up and in, ball 1. Durbin relieved last night. Allowed an RBI ground out. And then walked a batter, and he was gone. Bartlett tonight is 0 for 2. Good pitch, and Bartlett hops out of there after an awkward swing at this ball.
Yeah, that's that slider. That ball kept sliding, and Jason kept swinging.
Now Ryan Madsen joins Scott Air as Willie Ibar comes into the on-deck circle for the Rays. Rays have to get something done here, and this one into center field for Victorino. 1 on, 1 out.
Well, the very fact that Ryan Madsen is up in the 7th inning is an indication of Charlie Manuel wanting and needing, perhaps, to use Brad Lidge for more than 1 inning tonight. Normally, Madsen comes in the 8th, pitches the 8th, Lidge the 9th. But tonight, Charlie Manuel telling us that Lidge is ready for more than 1 inning.
There are the numbers for Ibar during the postseason. He's been a good performer for Joe Madden. And the switch hitter waits for the first pitch and takes a strike from Chad Durbin. It's Ibar now, then it's Iwamura. After Akinori, it's B.J. Upton, who has hit 7 home runs this postseason, but none during the World Series. And there's a line drive base hit into right field, and the Rays are making noise here in the 7th. So a walk, a hit in the inning, and Iwamura coming up. The 2008 World Series brought to you by Traverse, the all-new crossover from Chevy. It's everything you've ever wished for and then some. Here's tonight's winning ticket code. Go to worldseries.com/Chevy and learn about the Traverse, the all-new crossover from Chevy. Charlie Manuel is out to the mound. It's 2 on with 1 out. A 4-run Philadelphia lead here in the 7th. Durbin is gone. And here comes Scott Air with Iwamura coming up. for the Rays in the 7th. Back in Philadelphia, it's game 4 of the World Series. It's Scott Air into the game, 2 on with 1 out for Iwamura, who doesn't mind facing left-handed pitching at all, as that one misses down and away, ball 1 from Air, who is now in his 5th game of this postseason. He's allowed 1 earned run in 2 2/3 innings. Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike.
2 straight breaking balls from Scott Air to Iwamura. Air in there to face 1 batter, and that's Akinori, with Upton, the right-hander, on deck.
Iwamura has actually struggled against the right-handed pitching more this postseason than he has left-handed. A 1-1 pitch. Down and away, and yet against left-handed pitchers or anybody, he's almost moving out of the box as the pitch is getting to the home plate area.
Well, when you have that type of swing with Ryan Madson warming, when you have that type swing against a left-handed pitcher, you can almost never pull the ball unless the ball's inside. So the likelihood of him hitting it to left field is great in this at bat. If he makes contact, it almost has to be to left field.
They play him to hit to left in the outfield. 2 on, 1 out, 2-1 pitch way outside. 3 balls and a strike. If Iwamura can reach, B.J. Upton would represent the tying run. He's on deck, and he's pounded 7 home runs this postseason. Line drive into left. There is Bruntlett, who makes the play. 2 on, 2 out. So Iwamura does go the other way, and Bruntlett was there to make the catch. And we're going to have another pitcher. Ryan Madson will come on and try and finish off this 7th inning and deal with the very dangerous B.J. Upton. 2 on, 2 out. 4-run Philadelphia lead in the 7th. Had a chance last time I was here in Philadelphia to visit with my daughter the National Constitution Center in this great city, which is rich in American history. And there are founding fathers and Ben Franklin, and now that the Phillies are in the World Series, they put a Phillies cap on Ben. So much to see here in this city, and in this area, so many sports to root for these fans. Here in South Philly, as that pitch is up and away, ball 1 from Ryan Madson to B.J. Upton, and an opportunity here with 1 swing for the Tampa Bay Rays to jump back in it. 7 home runs this postseason in 61 at bats. 0 for 3 tonight, and a good fastball at 93 for strike 1. Runners on are Zobrist, the lead man, and Willie Ibar, the trail runner. 2 out, and a 1-1 count. Two and 1.
We've talked about it. Upton is lightning quick, up and in, very, very quick hands. Tied the game last night by himself without hitting a home run. A single, 2 stolen bases, and scoring on the error by Ruiz.
A sore left shoulder, one of the reasons why he only hit 9 home runs during the regular season. And a cool night in Philadelphia, he looks at ball 3 with Carlos Pena on deck. 3 and 1 on B.J. Upton. Here it is on 3 and 1, and a full count. Fans wave their towels, and Ruiz goes out to talk to Madsen. Ryan last night worked 2/3 of an inning, allowed the tying run to score. And it was Upton, the man at the plate, that scored that tying run in the 8th. Three-two, runners go, and the inning is over. That terrific Madsen changeup. And the Rays now have stranded 6 on the night. Had a chance here in the 7th inning, and it's still 6-2 Philadelphia on top. And right now we join public address announcer Dan Baker for the introduction of God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join Staff Sergeant Jesse Neese from the United States Army Chorus as he sings God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Dan Wheeler takes over after Edwin Jackson went 2, allowed 1 run, just the home run by Joe Blanton. Third pitcher of the night for Tampa Bay, and here is Shane Victorino. Good fastball for a strike. Victorino is hitless tonight, now 4 out of 14 in this World Series. 0 for 3 tonight. Pedro Feliz will follow, and then Carlos Ruiz. The Rays will have the heart of their lineup in their half of the 8th. They'll be dealing with Ryan Madsen as Victorino lines one into right. Zobrist makes a nice catch, 1 out.
Good break and a very nice play by Ben Zobrist in right field.
So Victorino is frustrated, 0 for 4. And here is Pedro Feliz. Fastball misses inside, ball 1 to Pedro Feliz.
It's an unusual evening offensively for the Phillies because they've scored in 4 of the 6 innings. Normally they'll score a lot of runs in 1 or 2 innings in a ball game, and they do not have an offense for those tack-on runs, but they have tonight.
One big swing of the bat tonight by Ryan Howard in opposite field, 3-run home run in the 4th inning. That made it 5-1 at the time. It's now 6-2 here in game 4, with the Phillies trying to take a 3-1 advantage with a game tomorrow night. And with their best on the mound, Cole Hamels against Scott Kazmir. Feliz 1 for 3, a 2-out RBI single back in the 3rd. Breaking ball is grounded left side. Longoria knocks it down, can't make a play. And a 1-out hit for Pedro Feliz is 2 for 4. Make-A-Wish Foundation, part of our Fox Sports Supports charitable initiative, grants 13,000 wishes a year to children with life-threatening medical conditions. You can help make wishes come true by visiting wish.org. 1 on, 1 out, and the batter will be Ruiz. Carlos, another hit tonight. And a strike. Trevor Miller getting loose. There was no double switch when the Phillies brought in Ryan Madson, so he is in the on-deck circle. And he will hit. Ruiz fouls it off to the right. Now it's 0-2.
Before game 1, we talked about the young starters for Tampa Bay, but it's been the Philly starters who have outpitched the 26 and under Joe Maddon's Tampa Bay starters. What a performance by Joe Blanton tonight. Outstanding.
Got into the 7th inning, allowed just 2 earned runs, and got one of those back with his first career home run in the big leagues. As he took Edwin Jackson out with 2 out and nobody on in the 5th. The 0-2. Line drive caught by Iwamura, and a throw for the double play.
How about the play by Pena?
He reached around Phillies and hauled it in as Iwamura, who's made 2 errors tonight, makes a brilliant defensive play and gets help on the other end. I don't know if Pena was on the bag or not. The inning is over. Top of the 8th inning, and for the Rays, this is the heart of their lineup. Trying to get back in this game, down 6-2 against one of the game's better short relievers, Ryan Madson. Ball 1. Here's that play at first base. Phillies argued briefly, and when you see the catch, you could make the argument that the foot's on the bag. It immediately comes off. It may be on its way up and off the bag right there. Too tough to tell, and double play was the call to end the 7th inning on that line drive hit by Ruiz.
Yeah, very good play on both ends by Iwamura and by Pena to complete the double play as J.C. Romero is up and throwing.
It's Pena now, Longoria on deck, and then Crawford. So much was talked about coming in about the combination, the 3-4 combination of Pena and Longoria. Hitless. That's strike 2. And this 3-4 combo, these slots are now 0 for 27 in this World Series,
with 13 strikeouts.
3 tonight. That's low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Pena, a low ball hitter, and the Phillies have been pitching him up. Longoria, a high ball hitter, and the Phillies have been pitching him down very effectively to both. Fastball inside.
Pena trying to break out of it. He has fouled out. He has struck out. He has walked. And he strikes out again.
Last night, Madson to Pena, pitching him up. Then Longoria down, and tonight, Blanton pitching him up. Up. Longoria down. Down.
That's the last pitch to get Carlos Pena. So the combination now 0 for 28 as Longoria launches one but foul. He thought he had one last night against Jamie Moyer, but the wind held it in the park, and that takes a deep breath for a guy who's really been struggling. And you saw him take that high fastball for strike 3 in his last at bat. He crunched that ball but pulled the trigger a little too soon. Here's the 0-1 off the fists, and it's about time, Tim, to start giving the scouts of the Philadelphia Phillies some credit.
Good point. Yep.
For the job they've done. Gordon Lakey is their director of Major League Scouting. Hank King is their advanced scout. They're here at the park tonight. They're not alone. Chuck Lamar, the former GM of the Tampa Bay Rays, is their director of pro scouting. Charlie Kerfeld, the ex-pitcher, special assistant to the GM, and Jim Fregosi Jr., former manager of the Phils. His son is the scouting coordinator. Another strikeout by Longoria, his third of the night. And Madsen has faced 3 batters tonight and struck out all 3.
And where is it? Down and away. Tell you, not too many major league hitters are going to hit that last changeup. Not there.
Now it's Crawford who's homered tonight. He's been hit by a pitch and he struck out. And a good fastball hits the outside corner. Takes an entire organization to win a world championship. When you talk about scouts, people in the front office, Phillies trying to do that. Scooped by Howard, trying to jump up to a 3-1 lead. On their way tonight in game 4 after 7.5, up by 4. There's Pat Gillick, the general manager, in his 3rd and final year with this Philadelphia organization. Is his Philadelphia club about to take a 3-1 series advantage as Matt Stairs leads off and gets his first at bat of this World Series. He has one very big at bat this postseason as Lidge gets loose. It was that game 4 out in Los Angeles, 2-run shot off Jonathan Broxton to put the Phillies on top for good. We talked to Matt Stairs about it. He said in his career, and he's a 40-year-old guy who's bounced around in his big league career, been in the minor leagues. He said that's the best, hardest ball he's ever hit, when he took Broxton way out to right. The 1-1. Down and in from Wheeler, and here it is. That followed a 2-run shot by Shane Victorino, which tied the game off Corey Wade. Here comes a 2-1 pitch from Wheeler. Ripped into right field, but foul. 2-2.
He is so refreshing, Matt Stairs. He says that he tries to hit every ball as hard as he can, even in batting practice. It goes against every philosophy of every hitting instructor. They'll say, try to, you know, we talked about Ryan Howard, hit the ball to left field, hit the ball up the middle during batting practice. Not Matt Stairs. Forget about it. He tries to hit every ball as hard as he can.
Here's a 2-2. And he goes down swinging for out number 1 here in the 8th. The Keys to Success checklist for the World Series broadcast on Fox, sponsored by the movie Yes Man, starring Jim Carrey. Joe Blanton was outstanding, pitching into the 7th. Pedro Feliz, 1 of 3 hits tonight with runners in scoring position for the Phillies. They're 3 for 13, a little better. And Ryan Howard homered last night. He homers tonight. Tonight's a 3-run opposite field home run, which made it 5-1. Now it's 6-2 in the bottom of the 8th. Here's Rollins. And there's one into right field, back into the corner. This ball is off the top of the wall. Rollins will dig for second, make it with a double, and he is on base for the 4th time tonight.
Jimmy Rollins just missing a home run, a high fastball from Dan Wheeler. Zobrist, who is 6'3", jumping, and that missed going out of here by about 6 inches, maybe 8 inches.
It actually hit that upper fence over the wall and came back into play right there. So it's a double, second double of the night for Rollins' 3rd hit, 4th time he's been on, and here's Jason Worth.
Good time to try to steal third if you're Rollins. Attack on run with 1 out and a right-handed batter at the plate.
Stays put. Worth shows bunt, takes the ball.
If you're thinking a manager gives a, you see the right-hander and left-hander up for the Rays, a manager gives a runner at second base the steal sign, that never happens. He's always left on his own.
That one stays up and in. Ball 2, 2-0.
Of course, if the count is 3-2 now, a runner may be given a sign from a third base coach. But if you're ever at a ballpark and you see the guy on second base trying to steal third, the manager always leaves him on his own. If you get a jump, go.
Worth takes a strike. On deck is Utley, runner at second, 1 out. In the 9th inning, the Rays will have the bottom part of their lineup. Navarro, Zobrist, and Bartlett. And they will be dealing with Brad Lidge. It will not be a save situation. Here's a 2-1. 2-2. But at this point, save, no save. It's just about outlasting the other team, getting the final outs, getting a win. And if that happens tonight, the Phillies will be in a commanding 3-1 series lead position with their best. Cole Hamels on the mound tomorrow night. Still 2-2 on Worth. Phillies will try and stay undefeated here at home during the postseason. And in this wild card era, which started in 1995, only the 1999 New York Yankees were undefeated at home during the postseason throughout. Phillies trying to match them, and if they do at the end of this postseason, they'll win the World Series with Game 5 tomorrow night. That's ball 3. Rollins at second, a 1-out double, and now a 3-2 pitch to Jason Worth. That is crunched into left field and gone. To 2 here in the 8th inning.
"24 home runs during the season, and 10 of those with 2 strikes. Here's another one.
Wheeler is gone. Utley is coming up. Phillies now have their biggest lead of the night, leading by 6. It's 8-2. Trevor Miller now takes over with Chase Utley and Ryan Howard coming up, 1 out. 2 more runs home, and 8-2. Philadelphia lead. And the Phillies bats are starting to wake up. The Tampa Bay Rays bats are still in a slumber, and here is Chase Utley, who's hitless tonight. He has scored a run. He's been on base twice. And Miller will deal with Utley, and then Ryan Howard. First pitch. Ball 1 outside. First home run for Jason Worth. First RBIs for Jason Worth of this World Series as he took Dan Wheeler deep. When he went around first base, put that right fist up into the air and got a good reaction from his teammate Shane Victorino in the dugout when he got back after circling the bases. Victorino did a similar gesture when he went deep with a grand slam against the Milwaukee Brewers in the division series. His teammates gave him grief, and he decided he wouldn't do that again. Well, Victorino was waiting for Jason Worth when he got back to give Jason some grief about putting his hand up a la Steve Garvey. Here is Utley taking a walk. So here is Victorino. Division Series Game 2 off CC Sabathia. Hand up. Here is Jason Worth tonight. Hand up. Here's Victorino wearing a mic.
What is up? What is up there? Oh, my people. My people. Hey!
You can hear him say, "What is up there? What is up there?" Huh? And Worth said, "A whole lot of people."
Of course, Davey Lopes' hand was up there too. Both of them giving a high five to the first base coaches as they went by.
Victorino actually made contact with Davey Lopes. In this case, Jason Worth whiffed. Here's Ryan Howard, 1 on, 1 out, and Howard in back-to-back games has gone deep. Trevor Miller, and that ball is absolutely hammered. 10-2. Second player in Phillies history with a multiple home run night in a World Series game. The other one to do it, Lenny Dykstra. Back in the '93 series, the first one went to left. This one was destroyed into right center. Wow.
Well, a great shot of Charlie Manuel there, and once again reiterating, if Ryan Howard gets hot, he can carry us to a world championship. Well, hot tonight, 5 RBIs.
So let's take it from the Tampa Bay side now. Let's say they don't come back in this game, and odds are they won't. It's a 10-2 game, bottom of the 8th inning. Now you go into a game 5. You're facing Cole Hamels, who's been unstoppable so far this postseason. The Phillies have not lost at home this postseason. That is Bruntlett for out number 2. And on top of that, while Carlos Pena and Evan Longoria have added another hitless night to this point to their 2008 World Series, now all of a sudden the bats for the Phillies, a club that led the National League in home runs with 214, they have started to wake up, and they've pounded 4 tonight, 10 runs on 12 hits, and it is all stacked against Joe Maddon leading into game 5 tomorrow night. Here's Victorino into left center field. Back is Upton to end the inning. But two-run home runs in the 8th inning for the Phillies. Jason Worth. Ryan Howard with the other. 10-2 Philly. It is a 10-2 lead for Philadelphia as game number 4 moves into the 9th inning. Joe and Tim with you, and this has been an impressive display here tonight power-wise by this Philadelphia Phillies offense.
Yeah, everybody knows they can hit the home run, and they have done it tonight, headed by Ryan Howard with 5 RBIs, a 3-run shot and a 2-run shot. Awesome.
Yeah, one went to left field, the second one, and the latest one went into right. Worth got in on the fun, and the other one belongs to Joe Blanton, who stands to be the winner. And it really has been a difference as well in the starting pitching that these two teams have received. And Blanton adds his name on the list. Even Myers in that Game 2 defeat pitched deep into the ball game as this ball is pulled foul off the bat of Gianna Navarro. 1 ball, 1 strike to start the 9th with J.C. Romero on the mound.
No, Joe, one bright spot for the Rays going into tomorrow night, if you're looking, I guess, for moonbeams, is that Scott Kazmir did pitch well in Game 1. He was bested by Cole Hamels, but Kazmir did not pitch poorly.
I would agree with that. And for Kazmir, he pitched 6. He allowed 3 runs, 6 hits. He allowed 2 runs in the first inning and a home run by Chase Utley. 1 run in the 4th inning. That was it. The problem is Cole Hamels has been hard for anybody to score against.
Lights out.
Here's a 1-2 pitch from Romero. Skips in there. Cole Hamels is the first Philadelphia pitcher to win 4 games in 1 postseason. He's 4-0 with an ERA of 1.5, and he's allowed 2 home runs in 25 2/3 innings. And when he won Game 1, he became the 3rd youngest left-handed starter to win a World Series game, behind Babe Ruth and Ray Sadecki, who were both 23 when they did it. Here's a 2-2. Full count. Jay Happ, a left-hander, getting loose for the Phillies, and if the Rays get anything going, that shutdown weapon of Brad Lidge is out there if needed. Navarro tonight 1 for 3. Romero was good last night. He got the win for Philadelphia. Gets off the mound and skips it. Howard can't handle it, and Navarro is on to start the 9th inning.
Well, that was a careless play by J.C. Romero. Just kind of lobbed that ball over there, and an error on Romero.
Here is Cole Hamels, who this postseason has become a star. First it was Milwaukee, then 2 wins and an MVP against the Dodgers in the NLCS, and a winner in Game 1 of this 2008 World Series. Here is Zobrist, and there is ball 1 inside. Ken Rosenthal is still with us, and Ken, I know you talked to Cole Hamels, who's gone over 250 innings pitched now overall this season, and he told you he's getting pretty sore this time of year.
Joe, he said basically it's taking him longer to recover now from each start. This started with his 2nd start in the NLCS, and basically he normally is sore 2 days after he starts. Now it starts immediately, but it fades. And I asked him today about how he's feeling, and he said back to normal.
So 1 out as Utley double clutched. He short hopped that ball off the bat of Zobrist, got the out at 2nd. Ben runs it at first now with 1 out, and the batter will be Bartlett. One on, 1 out, and Bartlett takes a ball up and in. Rocco Baldelli is in the on deck circle. He could get a start here tomorrow night in Game 5. And not only will the Rays have Kazmir starting, who's been very good his last 2 postseason starts, but they will have David Price ready to go multiple innings if needed out of the bullpen to do anything to get this World Series back down to St. Petersburg. There is David, the 23-year-old. That is strike 2. Runner at first, 1 out, 1-2 pitch is down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Joe Maddon's team has been counted out all year in that people just kept waiting for the Red Sox to overtake him in the AL East. That didn't happen. They waited to see if they could get by the White Sox. They did. There's out number 2. And after the Red Sox forced a 7th game, it was the Tampa Bay Rays who won to get to the World Series. Our Sharp game-changing plays brought to you by Sharp Aquos LCD TVs, the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. Sharp Aquos, change your TV, change your life. And a change of fortune tonight for the Phillies as their sluggers got into it. Even Joe Blanton with 4 home runs tonight. And that means 3 home runs the last 2 games now for Ryan Howard. And 10 runs tonight after scoring 10 runs in the first 3 games total. Ball 1 outside to Baldelli. One on, 2 out, and a strike, 1-1. On the inside corner, strike 2.
Romero Sharp.
Baldelli able to lay off. Some people thought coming into this series that the Phillies with their starting rotation would give something up with their back end starters, Moyer and then Blanton. Moyer helped set up his team for a win last night. They won the game in the 9th, and tonight Joe Blanton brought electric stuff to the park. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Still 2-2. Phillies trying to cap off a big weekend in this area that we've been talking about for 2 nights now. And a big day if you count early this morning, closing out Game 3, an Eagles win, and now the Phillies about to take Game 4, and they do right now, up 3-1 in the 2008 World Series. So the mission is clear for the Tampa Bay Rays tomorrow night. Get a win behind Kazmir and get this World Series back to St. Petersburg, Florida. And for the Philadelphia Phillies, they're one win away from their second World Championship in franchise history. J.C. Romero just blowing it. Glancing off the bat of Rocco Baldelli for the strikeout to end the night. Let's go down to the field and check in with Chris Myers.
Well, Joe, it's quite a scene here as fans are celebrating with Jimmy Rollins, who had a big night to lead this offense. First of all, congratulations. You're one win away from the World Series championship. That sounds good.
Yeah, it definitely does. This is what we play for. To be in this position. It took 162 games to decide for teams to get to this point. And we struggled at some points and fell behind, but showed the character of this team and where we battled back.
A number of storylines. You were on base a lot tonight. You started out in the series struggling a little bit. Was it Sonnenstein, the matchup? Was it patience on the part of this offense and yourself?
It was patience. We had Sonnenstein in trouble early, and he was able to, work his way out of it. And, I kind of thought to myself, we got to get out of this somehow. We can't let these guys hang around at too good of a ball club. And then, he started making a couple mistakes, and we finally got a hit with a runner at scoring position, 2 outs, and Pedro. And then, like we said, it only takes one. And after that, J-Dub got some hits, Ryan got some hits, and it just fell in place.
All right, and the Phillies undefeated in the postseason in their house. A great show on Fox, by the way, House. And you have Cole Hamels tomorrow night. All right, enjoy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Cody Wood. Don't miss it.
All right, thanks, Jimmy. Let's go over to Ken Rosenthal.
Thank you, Chris. We're here with Ryan Howard. Ryan, you had not hit a home run all postseason. You've got 3 the past 2 nights. How did you turn it around?
I just stayed within myself. I think a lot was made of it a little bit early, but you go through little funks where things just don't go right. But right now, like I said, I was just taking it one game at a time and just one pitch at a time, and just slowly but steadily getting the rhythm back and getting back to where I wanted to be.
The big question now: who has more power, you or Joe Blanton?
I might have to say Blanty right now, because Blanty got into that one pretty well. So he threw great for us tonight and then capped it off by hitting that home run.
One more win, you win the World Series. What will this place be like tomorrow night?
It'll be absolute bedlam. It will be one of the craziest places on earth, and it's kind of scary to imagine. But for us, we just have to stay focused and come back ready tomorrow, and hopefully we come out with that W.
Ryan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Joe, back to you.
All right, and thanks to the guys for sticking around. There's one more coming your way, a 5 RBI night for Ryan Howard. But tonight's Chevrolet player of the game is Joe Blanton. His performance, everything Phillies fans wished for and then some. Go to worldseries.com/Chevy to learn all about the Traverse, the all-new crossover from Chevy. He did it with his arm, no doubt. 6+ innings, 2 runs, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. He also did it with his bat. First career big league home run, and it comes in the World Series. He's standing by down on the field with Chris Myers.
Oh, yeah, forget Joe the plumber. It's Joe the pitcher tonight, right? Or Joe the hitter. First, let's talk about the home run. First career home run, as we just showed, amazing.
I guess just stuck in my same approach to hitting since I got here. Close my eyes and swing hard in case, hope something good happens, because better be lucky than good, I guess.
Well, you're a pretty good pitcher, too. 27 years old, though. This has to be, the moment of your life.
Yeah, team just did great behind me. Tried to go out the first inning, have a quick inning. And, the offense showed that they were going to give me some support early and, put up a run. And, Ruiz did an absolutely fantastic job behind the plate. Just on point the whole night, just allowed me to get in a great rhythm.
Joe, you started the year as the opening day pitcher for the Oakland A's. You get traded in July to Philadelphia. What was going through your mind at that point? Did you think you'd be standing here now?
Well, that's what you hope for. When you get traded to a new team, you get drafted by a team, and you get traded. This is you hope to get a shot at the playoffs, and if you do, hopefully a shot at this, and so things have worked out really good for me. I got a great bunch of teammates that took me in from day one, and they've just been phenomenal to play with.
Joe Blanton, I know they're happy in Kentucky tonight. Thanks for being on with us.
All right, thank you.
And a great moment, and the Phillies 1-1 away from wrapping it up. Joe?
All right, Chris, thank you very much. 10-2 is the final. And Joe Blanton from Nashville, Tennessee, gets the win, gets the home run. Jeannie, Kevin, and Eric all coming up on the heels of this win for the Phillies, who are now up 3-1.
Welcome back to the Chevy postgame show on Fox. Chevy and American Revolution. The Philadelphia Phillies need one win to capture just their second world championship in over a century of baseball in the city. And oh, by the way, the Phillies have not lost at home this postseason. Jeannie Zalaska along with Eric Karros and Kevin Kennedy. Now we come to this city. The series is tied at 1 apiece. The Rays will tell you to a man they like the matchups on paper. What has gone wrong for them?
Well, what's gone wrong is the offense right now. You know, Jimmy Rollins and Ryan Howard, they started slow the first 2 games, but for Philadelphia, they've absolutely awakened. You know, Jimmy Rollins, everybody talks about how he goes, the Phillies go. Getting that leadoff double in the first inning and then comes in, the walk, scores that first run. Again here, a base hit just by Iwamura, and the big man, Ryan Howard, hit a home run last night. This is a 3-run shot. J-Roll, he knows what's happening. And just to do it again to make sure everybody knows Ryan Howard is back. And for me, that's the biggest difference. These two have arrived on the other side, Evan Longoria and Carlos Pena. 0 for 29 with 15 strikeouts. Not happening if the middle of the lineup doesn't help.
All right, as I mentioned, the Rays came to this city. They liked the matchup on paper. They really thought they'd get a W versus Moyer. That didn't happen. And then they saw Blanton tonight, and they like that matchup too.
Yeah, I think Blanton's not getting enough credit. I mean, they got him in a trade from the Oakland A's, and this guy stepped up. And we talked to him in the pregame show about Sonnenstein not pitching in 12 game days. This guy hasn't pitched in 13, and Blanton was outstanding, punching out Longoria, punching out Pena, a variety of sliders. Here's a situation in the 6th. Got him looking, breaking ball right there, and that was Longoria looking at a fastball. And then Navarro just for good measure. 7 strikeouts for Blanton. He went 6+ innings. He got the ball turned over to the outstanding bullpen, the #1 bullpen in the National League, by the way. And then the offense just completely opened up.
The offense opening up. Blanton as well with the big swing in the bat.
Yeah, you know, he can hit. That's why they got him.
Looked a little bit like Babe Ruth. Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting, guys. The Rays have a motto, Joe, and basically it is we live in the moment. We don't worry about tomorrow. If they don't take care of a Game 5, there will not be a tomorrow. Philadelphia Phillies could be the next world champs. Joe?
All right, guys, thank you very much. Thank you to Jeannie. Thank you to Eric. And thank you to Kevin. There are the Game 5 probables tomorrow. It'll be Scott Kazmir, Cole Hamels, who has been undefeated this postseason. Good rematch from Game 1 of this World Series, and we're on the air at 8 Eastern tomorrow night on Fox. Tonight's game produced by Pete Majeska, directed by Bill Webb. Pre-game show produced by Don Bowie, directed by Rich Russo. Our associate producer Carol Langley McDermott, and our associate directors Aaron Stoikov, Larry Lancaster, and Kathy Hunt. Thanks also to feature producer Judy Wong, Michael Hughes, broadcast associates Brian Biederman, Yvonne Wagner, Matt Schleff, and Erica Leone, plus Jim Bernard, Andy Kavanaugh, Jonah Meyer. The pregame show, and as always, the coordinating producer of the pregame show, Scott Ackerson. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports, Ed Gorin and David Hill. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. We look ahead to tomorrow night, while we also look back to tonight. A final of 10-2. Phillies win it, and they are now 1 win away from a world championship, while the Rays try to get this series back home to Florida. Join us tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. Game 5 of the World Series. Until then, from all of us, so long.